was diagnosed in May of 2015. I had gone in for my annual well woman visit, and we of course then scheduled my annual mammogram. Went and had that done, and when they read the results, they saw some suspicious calcifications, so they asked me to come back in. Well, I went in for the biopsy, and sure enough, it came back as interductal carcinoma in situ, but very early stage. It's stage 0, and so that left me with a lot of options. So with a lot of research and a lot of prayer and a lot more discussions with my Integris Care team, I decided to move forward with a lumpectomy with radiation.
All of a sudden, I was doing a routine breast self-exam in the shower, which I had just started doing actually, when I felt a lump in my right breast. And I didn't think it was anything because you just don't hear about young women getting cancer, breast cancer. And so I just kind of felt it and brushed it off for a couple of weeks. But I kept feeling it, and there was just this nagging overall feeling like, go get that checked out. I mean, my intuition, guardian angels were screaming at me. From there, I was diagnosed with stage 2B breast cancer. It was invasive and pretty aggressive. However, my surgeon told me, Molly, I'm gonna recommend a mastectomy, which at 31 years of age, I was like, oh, that's not really in my plan here. But that wasn't really what got me, is when she said, Ann, you're gonna have to do chemo. And you know, all I could think about was chemo, and I said, oh my gosh, am I gonna lose my hair?
Well, I felt a mass on my breast, and I'd just been in for my mammogram 6 months before. I really kept putting it off, and then I kept feeling nudged by God to go in and make sure. I went in, and they said, oh, it's probably nothing. And then they sent me for a mammogram and then an ultrasound, and they saw something. And that's when they found that I had stage 2 with 1 lymph node involved.
One evening, I was sitting up in my bed on my laptop, and my left arm just brushed up against my left breast, and I could actually feel it on the back of my hand. That's how large it was. So I sat on it for a couple of days, not really being too concerned, and I finally texted my friend, who also wound up being my oncologist. And she got me in the very next day for a diagnostic mammogram and ultrasound, and they told me that day that I had cancer. I started chemotherapy before we did anything surgical or radiation because my tumors were so big that we needed to shrink them first. What got me through this last 14 months, first of all, was my faith. Secondly was my family. My husband has been wonderful. A good friend of mine had been diagnosed 5 years prior to me, and she told me that one of her physicians told her that a very high percentage of marriages who go through breast cancer don't survive, and that was bothersome. But my husband has been perfect through all of this. Couldn't have done it without him.
It's amazing how when you go through something like this, how you really know how much you're loved and appreciated and who your friends really are. And this was it really is a gift. I mean, I know cancer doesn't sound like a gift, but it really was a gift to know that, and for all those people to surround me with their love and support.
Fortunately, I have strong faith, and I have an amazing family and support system, and my friends rallied around me and wouldn't let me get too down.
When I first got cancer, of course, it was quite a surprise because I didn't think there was cancer in my family, and there hadn't been any cancer in my family, and so it was really a shock. But with my faith in God and my friends and my family, I got through, and I always had a positive attitude. Why not have a positive attitude? You can't be sad all the time.
What I really felt like is that the entire Integris Care team, everyone from the receptionist at the Comprehensive Breast Center to the person on the wellness team at the Cancer Institute that greeted me that first day I went to see Dr. Theobald. I felt like they treated me very genuinely as a person, and again, not as a diagnosis, and with kindness and respect and compassion and with care. And I felt that all the way through this process, and still feel it today because I'm still, on my journey.
When I thought chemo was going to be unbearable, they actually made it fun. There was laughter and camaraderie, and you meet the women around you who are having chemo at the same time you are. So probably the positives and the best Integris moments were the friendships that were formed.
I've met so many nice people there, and now I'm a volunteer with Integris, and I've learned so much by being a volunteer. Even learned how to crochet with all the crochet ladies. Just the experiences I've had, I feel stronger through working there and surviving cancer.
So when you're first diagnosed, your initial reaction is to break down and to be angry and to question, why me? But truthfully, we all go through hurdles in life, and this is one of those hurdles. It happens to be yours right now for the moment. And the way that you react is how everyone around you is going to react. So it's up to you to set the tone for how this whole thing is going to go. You can either be negative and angry and people around you are upset, or you can be positive and happy and take it as it comes and work through it, and before you know it, it's over.
If I were given the opportunity to talk to someone that was recently diagnosed, I would remind them to breathe, because it's easy to start holding your breath. You don't even realize that you're doing that, and to give yourself some time to process, but to also talk to other women that have been there and have walked in those shoes, and just to learn from those experiences. Everyone's experience is different. Everyone has different types of cancer. They are different type of stages, and everyone's story is a little bit different, but they can give you some great insight on been there, done that.
My advice that I give to people who are going through cancer, you hear take things one day at a time. I said, screw one day at a time. I'm gonna take every day 1 minute at a time. And in this minute, in this moment, I'm gonna get through this minute, and then I'm gonna get through the next, then I'm gonna get through the next. And you've gotta hold on to your strength, your family, your friends, and your resilience, and know that you're gonna come out on the other side braver and stronger and more beautiful than ever.